Can you tell us what does cause a man of a certain age to take this sudden pause and reflection on his life? And what would you call it a midlife crisis? Talk us through the process of this.
Well, basically, as human beings, we form our identity, our sense of who we are, in large part from the roles we occupy. So I might say, oh, who am I? I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm an actor, I'm a TV presenter, whatever it is. And that's fine. And then if and when one of those gets kind of knocked out by something, by divorce or by losing your career or something like that, we can then feel like our whole, oh my God, who am I? Question doesn't have an answer. And that can feel incredibly unsettling. And, you know, if that happens when we're 25, it probably doesn't get noticed that much because we're not in that stabler period of our lives anyway. Whereas we tend to be in a much more stable phase by the time we're 45, 55. So then if it happens and we change, the change can look quite dramatic both to us and to other people around. I think that also then encouraging men to go to therapy and talk about their feelings may be valid, but that tends to be a very feminine domain. You know, women, girls sit around and talk about their feelings a lot more than men. So a lot of men find that quite emasculating. It's not how they want to do things. The way they get their sense of self-esteem is having some kind of purpose in life, which is why if they lose their job or they lose their wife or access to their kids or something, it can, you know, the rug has been pulled from under them. It can hit them so hard. So I think the first thing really is to, as a man, you know, perhaps going through something like that or getting close to it or worrying about it, is to realise that, you know, you are more than your roles in life. You're more than your job or your role in the family. You know, you're more than that. And actually, people who are religious probably have quite an easy time seeing that because that's, you know, all religions teach you're more than just that. But actually, you can be an atheist and still see that you're not just those roles. So that would be a good thing to be aware of internally. And I think the other, you know, you could go to therapy, etc. But the other thing is, if you are in a crisis time, you are struggling as a guy in your 40s or 50s, find older men who have been through something similar and come out the other side and talk to them about it. But they have to come out the other side. So it's no good if you're going through divorce, talking to an older guy who had a bitter divorce and is still bitter about it. You've got to find the guy who had a divorce and is come out the other side and is now happy and at peace with it. Because in all these areas, you know, the wisdom of the elders is something which perhaps we tend to neglect. And, you know, it's
such an interesting... Sorry, you're just saying so many interesting things. I just want to pick you up on this one, is that we seem to live in a world where we're told not to listen to our elders. We're told to look to our children to teach us. Yes. Are we taking all of mental health a bit seriously? Because, you know, what do you think? Isn't there a place for stoicism in masculinity?
Well, there is a place for stoicism, and that is why speaking to men or to therapists who haven't been captured by a very sort of feminist narrative, which I'm afraid a lot of them have been, that's why, you know, that kind of narrative, that kind of conversation is generally better for men. And as you said, the wisdom of the elders, we do live in an upside-down culture in that it's all about every teenager. You know, it's nothing new about teenagers thinking they know all the answers, but what is new is adults agreeing with them. That's the bit that's crazy. And it's not doing the teenagers any good, and it's certainly not doing the adults who are listening to them any good.